Lady Walker Show.
Howdy, 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 and more howdy to you. Welcome to the Lady Walker Show. I am Lady Walker, and my beloved peeps, I have another gem dandy of a show in store for you. My guest, Bridgette Stubbs, is here to tell us about the upcoming event, the dance workshop. She is going to tell us about her newest book. Now, this is how the interview is going to go down. It's a good one, but it is going to go down this way. The camera is going to be only at that time during the interview process. It is only going to be on Bridgette Stubbs. You will hear my voice. I am sitting across from her, interviewing her, but the camera at that time is not going to be on me. It is going to be on her. It is going to be on my guest only during the time that I interview her. How about that? But all is well, okay? All is well. So, beloved, meet my guest, Bridgette Stubbs. Welcome to the show, Bridgette Stubbs.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you. My mom, she told me some years ago when I was a teenager that my name was not Bridget, it was Bridgette.
Bridgette.
And the only time she made distinction was when she was a little upset with me. It was Bridget on normal days, but if she was upset, it was Bridgette. So
really?
It's Bridgette.
Well, you are here to tell us about the upcoming event.
Yes, I am hosting my very first dance workshop. And the theme of it is called Flowing Under the Shadow of the Almighty. That's the name of my book. So that is my theme, and my motto is flow under the shadow of the Almighty. And that just entails, that means to dance under God's anointing.
Interesting. So how long have you been dancing?
I've been dancing now for 21 years.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. I think I just made 21 maybe back in March.
Back in March
of this year.
Did you take some kind of dance classes, or it just you were anointed to do it?
I believe that I was anointed and purposed for it. I started out in the dance ministry 20 years ago. Well, actually, maybe 18 years ago. And I was never taught professionally how to dance. I know that it is a gift that I have. It's a talent that God has given me. And I just got into dance ministry because I wanted some type of, want to be involved in church in a way to show God my appreciation of what He's done for me. So when the doors were opened, when it was an announcement that there was going to be a dance ministry starting, I immediately,
in your church?
At my church, I immediately signed up for it. And
Are you over the dance ministry?
Well, at that time, when I was a part of the ministry, I left the ministry about maybe 6 years ago. But prior to that, I was a part of a dance ministry, and at one point in time, I was director of dance.
Oh, okay.
After my director, she kind of had like a small leave, and she appointed me, and I took it on from there.
Wow, and you've been at it for 21 years. Well, how often do you practice, and how do you, different dances, and just how does that happen?
Well, of course, if you have an event coming up, now we danced once a month, every fourth Sunday. And even now, the church that I'm helping to incorporate their dance ministry, I've helped them to form their ministry. I take on the same attitude as far as when we dance, so it's a once a month time of ministry for the dancers. But practice is very, very key. I'm a firm believer that if you cannot just learn something at practice, you've got to go home and practice it over and over again.
Yeah, so of course with you being at home, you're practicing all the time.
I am, especially when if I'm teaching a routine, which that's what I do with these new dancers. I am giving them new routines, so I have to practice so that I can take it to them. You know.
So do you have
teach them.
anybody to show you various dance moves? Because when y'all are performing, how many dances do y'all do?
Well, we only dance, as of now, we're only dancing once a month on a Sunday. We haven't gotten to the point yet where we'll be, going out to different events.
Oh, okay, not yet.
Not yet. I feel strongly that it's going to take some time because they're new. We'll be doing more.
Are you training or working with younger people or adults?
Yes, adults and children.
Yes.
Adults and children.
Well, I bet you
The
that's
two groups.
interesting. And you have to do some warm-ups and all of that before you actually start performing the dance
You should
itself.
stretch. You should stretch at least.
And y'all do that, of course, all together.
And we pray before the practices because God is the reason why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's a big stressor for me, and that's why God has really compelled me to come out and show and to teach other dancers what their goals should be, what their intent should be, what their motivation should be. It should be about God only.
Right, exactly.
And not the people. We want to please God, foremost.
Okay. Now, how did that name come about?
My ministry is called BesStyle Liturgical, and BesStyle Liturgical, those are my initials. BES are my initials, and style is just an expression of being who I am and who God has created me to be. And that's not only in dance, but that's in my life in general. I'm always conscious of who I am and not trying to be something that I'm not.
That is great. That is great. Well, is there anybody who have inspired you along the way?
I can truly say that my director in dance, and I consider her my mentor. She inspired me when I was in the dance ministry at my former church. She inspired me because she was such a spirit-filled person, but it was her who really saw what God had placed in me as far as dance is concerned, and it always stuck with me.
Oh, really?
It always stuck with me, and it made me evolve. I didn't think that I would be at this place now. When I was a part of a dance ministry, I just thought that's the way it would always be. But seasons change, times change. God has a different plan. True. And so when I began to involve in my own ministry, I just recently started to reflect back on some things that she would just personally tell me, which made me see who I was and how God created me to dance.
So as a youngster, were you ever interested?
I've been dancing. I did the drill team, in high school, college. So I've been dancing all of my life. And I even speak about, parts of the book where my family had parties on weekends, and so I was always around music and dancing. I've been dancing all my life, so
Yes.
that's always been a part of me.
Okay, now you mentioned your book.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us about the book, Blowing Under the Shadow of the Almighty.
Yes, and it's my subtitle is Understanding God's Intent for Liturgical Dance. The book came about, God really compelled me to write this book. I never imagined, never even thought about writing a book. It was never an interest of mine. And I was gonna have a workshop back in 2016, and at that time, God began to put this in my spirit about writing a book. I told my husband, I said, I think I have a lot to say, but when I made that statement, I didn't realize. I guess God was working then. I didn't realize exactly what I had to say, but as time went by, as I was trying to plan for the workshop, the book just took precedence over that.
Oh, it did. Interesting.
So the workshop was put down.
For how long? How long did it take you to complete the book?
It actually took me, I would say, a little bit less than a year to write it. To write the book, and so I just started to pick up, my tablet or whatever and write. I would just, when something would come to mind, I would just start to write, and I just put it in book form. And
So you kept a notebook by the bed,
in my purse, in
your purse.
In my purse. I don't care where I was. I could be in church. I could be at the grocery store. I could be riding in the car.
Oh, really?
When things would come to mind, I would write it down.
So it took you about a year.
I would say about a year to actually write it, to get it down.
Wow, and in the book you are talking about
God, what God intended. And I truly believe that dance ministry is a true form of ministry. It is a platform that I believe that God has allowed to come into fruition because because there are different gifts. Everybody has different gifts. Everyone has a different ministry, because ministry is not in a box. So however God chooses to use you.
I like the way you said that ministry is not in a box. Although sometimes people would try to put you in a box.
True.
And say you can't do this. This is not of God. Which is foolish.
And there are still some churches who will not allow it in there because they don't believe that this belongs in the church. Even though you can praise God in a dance, but I guess when it comes to maybe a structured thing, I guess maybe that's where some people have an issue with it. But God, we're so diverse in what God has placed in us. This is new. It's not new, but I feel that this is something that God has allowed to come forth, because everyone is not going to be a preacher, even though as Christians and those who are born again, we're supposed to evangelize, but everybody's not going to get in a pulpit.
True.
Everybody's not going to become a speaker of some sort for the gospel. So dance is a form of speaking. It's a movement. It's with your movement that you speak to God's people. Right. And that you minister to God's people.
Well, that is good. That is so good.
So the words of the song and with the movements that the Holy Spirit inspires to give you, it touches a lot of people. That some people maybe their attention, they won't be able to focus on just straight words or speaking, and they may need something else.
But it's ministry nevertheless.
It's ministry.
And music and dance, it can speak to a person.
Yes. I mean, we've had the choirs forever.
Yes.
So it stirs up your heart and it gets you ready for the word. And that's how I was taught. My background is, this is a part of, we do sort of like the same thing that the choir does. And that's to prepare the heart, to soften up the heart. So when you hear the word of God, you receive it. Maybe your attention will be there.
That's great. How about that? And as I said in my opening, this is a different kind of show. This is where the camera is only on my guest, Bridgette Stubbs. It's only on her. You hear my voice, but the camera isn't going to be on me during the interview process. Right about now, it's on me. You see me and you hear my voice, but when I am interviewing her, you only see her, but you hear my voice. The interview continues. Bridgette Stubbs. Now tell us about what the workshop entails.
Some people, when they think of a workshop, they think that it's gonna be like hands-on, or you're gonna actually have to get up and do something. But this workshop is designed to only verbally instruct you.
Okay.
On what dance is about, why you should dance, and what God is looking for in the dancer, when you come before God's people. I will also have someone to speak on purpose. There's going to be a small empowerment session where she's going to speak on purpose, because as we walk in this life, everyone is given a purpose. We all have gifts, but we also have a purpose.
Exactly.
So she's going to try to break up that ground where you may not have thought that there's a purpose, that something you must be doing at this time, or be doing for your life or for God. I'm also going to have expressions. There's going to be someone to do a liturgical expression, and there's also going to be mime expression, because once again I have to go back to where I come from. The dance ministry that I was a part of, the Daughters of Miriam and the Men of Judah, I was a member of Cathedral AME Zion Church, and so the dance ministry composed of the ladies and the men. The men where their faces were painted, but they danced, but they mimed. You know, they had a different way of expression in their bodies than we. Of course, we were more softer in our moves, of course, and they were, you know, more. They were just different. So I brought in the mime because there are some ministries that have only mime. Some people only mime, and some people only dance liturgically. So that's why I want to show both forms of dance. So that's the
difference between the two dances.
Yes. Mime is, it's movement, but it's not dance. It's not liturgical. Liturgical, let me go back to what liturgical means.
Okay.
It means formal public worship.
Okay.
It's formal public worship. But liturgical is going to be a softer movements. And it's not going to be so, let's see, how can I put this? Miming is going to be like direct type of movements. In liturgical dance, every movement doesn't have to speak out the word of the song.
Okay.
But those who mime, they actually act out the actual word of the song.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing it in my mind's eye. Okay, and I can understand it. And as you said, liturgical is more like worshiping.
It's more worship and movement, like softer movements, dance movements, more dance movements.
And even that takes discipline. Even though you've been dancing just about all your life, that still takes some discipline.
It takes discipline because
it's a different kind of dance when you were on the drill team and all of that.
Yes. You got the practice aspect of it, of course. That's one aspect of the discipline. But when you're doing something for God, it's going to take a different type of discipline because you have to. There are things that you have to lay down and stop because the dance for God takes precedence over what you want to do, how you feel, what you want to do. Because when the call is on you to dance for God, everything else has to sit down. You have to do everything God's way. That means the fasting, that means prayer, spending time with God. Your own personal time with God is important. You can't do this type of dance or type of ministry without God. So that's where a lot of the discipline comes from, because a lot of times it's hard to stop and pray. It's hard to, your body does not want to fast, first of all.
I know.
So
true.
that's you have to be disciplined in that way.
Yes.
You have to be.
Okay, now what time does the event start, the workshop start?
Okay, yes, the workshop is going to be Saturday, November the 16th at 11 a.m. It will take place at Omega Ministries in Jackson, which is on Sywell Road. I think it's 2300 North Sywell Road.
Okay.
In Jackson.
Yeah.
And it will last about probably a good hour, almost 2 hours maybe.
Okay.
2 hours, and I'm going to have some vendors there, so there's going to be just a little mixture of everything, something that you can enjoy other than the speakers and other than the movement. The illustration movement.
Okay, so you got Pastor Velma Cable?
Pastor Velma Cable. She's actually the other two ladies, the Pastor Velma Cable, who will be speaking on empowerment. She's going to do her empowerment session. And our liturgical dancer who's going to do an expression, Betty Rice. Both of them, they were with me in the dance ministry.
Oh, they were?
So we go a long way in dance, a long way in dance. So we've been together for a while.
Okay. Again, this is November the 16th, which is on a Saturday at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
at Omega Ministries.
Omega Ministries in Jackson, at 2300. I think
North,
it's 2300.
Yeah, 2300.
2300 North Sywell Road. And also, this is a free event. I forgot to mention, this is a free event. Everybody is welcome. Not only those who are currently dancing, but those who aspire or those who just want to know what dance entails, the entire, scope of it, It's a free event, but I do ask that people RSVP on Eventbrite so I can kind of get a head count.
Okay, RSVP on Eventbrite.
Yes.
Okay, a free event. So doors opens at
10:30.
10:30?
10:30.
And it's about an hour or two.
About, I would say an hour and a half, close to 2 hours.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty interesting. And this is your first one?
This is my very first dance workshop. As I mentioned before, I started to do it in 2016 when it was time to write the book, Flowing Under the Shadow of the Almighty. I had to get the book written. And I really had a desire to have my book on hand so that I could promote it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And so now God He set it up where, you write the book first, now it's time for the workshop, so.
This is so interesting. Do you have any other books in the future that you're going to write?
I don't know, there may be a sequel, not a sequel, but maybe another part or an updated version. I'm not sure, because as God is kind of beginning to give me a little bit more to write about. And one thing we didn't speak about, but I do consider myself as a prophetic dancer.
Okay.
So, when it comes to practice and what, that just means that whatever God communicates to you, that's what you communicate. Mm-hmm. And I just dance as God inspires me as the Holy Spirit. Because when I dancing solo, when I'm invited to events, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't practice. I just pray, fast, and just yield to the Holy Spirit. And when I watch these videos, you can go to my YouTube channel, BesStyle Liturgical, or you can find me on Facebook, BesStyle Liturgical, BesStyle Liturgical. And when I see these videos, I'm amazed, because I don't know what God is going to do with me once I come out before His people.
That is so interesting. All right, well, we are going to take our final break and come back and give out that information again, because we do want, for those who can come out, to come out.
Yes.
And support. All right, well, we'll be right back. Welcome back, my beloved peeps. All right, then. Ooh, this is interesting. Oh, it's getting good. It's getting good. My guest is Bridgette Stubbs, and she is telling us about the upcoming event. Once again, and I tell you, I'm giving you the time and the dates, and she's doing the same thing, so it should be implanted in your mind. The dance workshop is November the 16th, this year, 2019, at 11 a.m. at the Omega Ministries, 2300 North Sowell Road, Jackson, Mississippi, and RSVP. She would love it if you will RSVP to let her know that you will be attending. And beloved, it is free. Free, F-R-E-E. Yes, yes, yes. But anywho, if you can, go out there and RSVP. Now, if you don't get a chance to RSVP, she said that you can still come. The interview continues. Again, you hear my voice, but you don't see my face during the interview process, but you see my guest, Bridgette Stubbs. You see her. The camera, once again, is on her. All right, now tell us, where can your book be purchased? Flowing Under the Shadow of the Almighty, Understanding God's Intent for Liturgical Dance.
Yes, the book is available on Amazon.com, but I also keep copies on hand, so I do have a website where you can actually click and pay through PayPal, and I can mail the book out to you. The website is beststyle.wixsite.com/dance.
Okay. Now, once again, tell us how those who are interested in coming to the workshop, once again, tell us how can they get at least RSVP. Yes. Because what if some people don't RSVP? If
you don't RSVP, please don't let that stop you. Just come out. You have the time, November the 16th at 11 a.m. Still come out, because my main goal is I really want to inspire other dancers to do this. If it's in your heart at all to dance for God, please don't let fear or intimidation or anything stop you from doing what God has put in your heart. Because if you're thinking about it, you're pondering about it, there's a reason why God has put this in your mind, in your spirit to do. So you really need to come out.
Now, what is the oldest age that someone can be one of those dancers?
There is no age limit to Dance for God. Now, I choose to start with them at 5 or 6, no younger than that, because of their attention span. But I'm 52 years old, and I see myself doing this until when, I don't know when. So I would not say, don't think, oh, I'm 55, I'm 60. Please don't if you have the mobility, if God has given you the mobility to move and it's in your heart, please do not let that hinder you. Because God can use you. We know in the Bible, God has used people in their 90s and their 100s.
Exactly.
So we cannot stop and just, we can't do that. We can't put God in the box. We can't put ourselves, our gift, our purpose in a box.
And once again, I like what you just said. We cannot put God in a box. Because when you do that, it seems as though God cannot work through you.
Yeah, right.
Because you have put him in a box and saying, well, God can't use me because, like you said, if you have the mobility,
yes,
and you have that desire, because some people do have that desire, older people who are getting older in age, and they have that mobility, but I guess fear certainly, stand in their way.
It does, and just because I explained what liturgical, the movement of it, don't get stuck on that either.
Right.
I mean, because I don't think I mentioned this, but I do help churches create or form their own ministry. So I'm available for just consultations to help churches form a ministry, and those churches who even have a ministry in place. If your dancers are stagnant or if they seem to be not as motivated to dance for God, I mean, I'll come in and speak to the dancers to get them back on track where they mentally, and help them to spiritually get back on track.
That's good.
For what they're supposed to do.
What contact information do you have for that? If someone who's interested, if there's a church that's interested in having you to come out to do that.
If someone wants to contact me, you can either contact me through the website, but my email is beststyleliturgical@gmail.com. My number is 601-259-1845.
Okay.
Or you can inbox me on Facebook. You can just reach out to me in any form, and we'll talk about how I can help your ministry or help you form a dance ministry.
Well, once again, give out that information on the workshop that's coming up on November the 16th.
Yes, the dance workshop, Flowing Under the Shadow of the Almighty, is on Eventbrite. It's going to be Saturday, November 16th at 11 a.m. at Omega Ministries in Jackson, Mississippi. That's 2300 North Sidewell Road.
And it would be nice for people to RSVP.
Yes, if you can, please RSVP. But if you don't, and it's Friday the 15th, still come out.
Still come out. All right. Well, thanks so much, Bridgette. I love that, Bridgette Stubbs.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming out and letting us know about the upcoming workshop, as well as sharing your book with us.
Thank you.
And again, they can go to your website.
You can go to my website at beststyleliturgical.wixsite.com/dance, or you just go to amazon.com and search for Flowing Under the Shadow of the Almighty.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for coming out and gracing us with your presence.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, my beloved peeps, that's it. That's my interview with Bridgette Stubbs. I hope you were blessed by it. I hope that if you are able to attend, that you will attend the dance workshop. It is free, love. It is free. Just RSVP on Eventbrite if you are able to attend November the 16th at 11 a.m. at Omega Ministries, Saria Road, Jackson, Mississippi. In the meantime, got to go. It has been real. Thanks a trill for tuning in, and I will see you next time on the Lady Walker Show. Ta-ta.